I'm going to be real with you all. I've been doing this political activism thing for a while now. In fact, my entire adult life. And while I have many years to go on this planet, hopefully, at the age of 27, I am a decrepit ancient creature on the web now. I was there when the deep magic was written in 1995. There for the MySpace era, Neopets, RuneScape, MSN Messenger, Tumblr, all of it. And what I have learned throughout this period is there is no fixing this political cultural crisis we are in now by wielding the very tool that sent us straight off the damn cliff into the darkest depths of it. Let's see. Loneliness, division, misinformation, job losses, globalization, corporate cannibalizing. What has been the catalyst and driving force of all of these things? We don't really want to say it, do we? Because if you're watching this video right now, you're partaking in it at this moment, same as me. That's right, the internets. So once again, why am I here, you may ask? Well, boycotting something to try and destroy it doesn't really work if you're the only one doing it, so I'm just gonna be a hypocrite and hang out here until someone else gets rid of it. But I'll tell you right now, I truly think the only way to fix our world at the moment is to nuke the internet. Just blow it right up. If I had a button right now to kill it, despite the inevitable result meaning I became unemployed, I would do it faster than Joe Biden's nose can detect a small child within sniffing radius. No questions asked. Goodbye. I think the best way to describe the concept of this brave new world we live in dates back a lot longer than Aldous Huxley. We're experiencing Plato's cave right now, living and dancing around as fake versions of ourselves, these little shadow people, pretending it's reality, and increasingly gaslighting ourselves into truly believing it. At the same time, even more fake shadows are popping up and drawing our attention, created by governments, tech companies, ads, bad actors, etc. As 4chan declares, the stories and information posted here are artistic works of fiction and falsehood. Only a fool would take anything posted here as fact. In reality, this applies to the internet as a whole. Even when it seems to affirm your own side, tells you something you really want to hear, there is almost no knowing what is actually true unless you have seen it with your own eyes. So much context gets cut out of clips you see online. So much absolutely necessary information. So I, for one, absolutely 100% support the ban on TikTok. I do not care if they do it under the guise of some anti-China laws. I know that's a big deal here too, don't get me wrong. But basically, I just want the entire thing to come crashing down, no matter what it does to my life. In fact, it'll probably be a blessing because I do not have the willpower to log off myself. And with no history of being an internet terrorist anymore, I could probably do any job I wanted to. The world is my oyster when I no longer have shooting flares at refugees all over my Google search results. But more importantly than my alternative job prospects, I want us all to be forced to look each other in the eyes when we say incredibly shitty things to one another. I want people to see the anger on the face of somebody they've just insulted and have the option to throw hands if someone has stepped out of line, instead of just making stupid fake threats online all day and then waiting 24 hours for your account report to go through. I want crazy TikTok users to have to try. I would just love it. Love to see them try and rant about being frog self in a public space, surrounded by normal people, and just see how long it would take them to find a community that indulged their insanity. You ever see those videos of girls getting mad at people in the gym for talking to them, offering to help them out with some of the equipment, making it a big old scene for the internet? When it's real, these girls are almost always getting banned from the gym they're at or chewed out and publicly humiliated. The accountability of public spaces with a random selection of normal human beings is unbelievably powerful. They don't put up with 90% of the nonsense we see on the internet. But everyone watching this, everyone partaking in the e-politics space, I think we've forgotten that normal humans exist as a whole. I know I have over the years. I have spent so long obliterating my brain with culture war nonsense and e-dopamine that I sometimes forget most people hate this stuff. And most people who were not raised on the internet are fairly grounded and nice to be around. Even when you see normal people acting collectively insane, like over mask mandate stuff, that is usually the result of internet-curated gaslighting from governments. So it's literally, once again, the fault of the internet that they're acting abnormal. Guess who are having the most difficulties being well-adjusted and grasping reality? It's not normies who are going out to the bar and not partaking in politics. It's the generations that were raised in Plato's cave, online. And you know what? I have to admit, I have been a part of creating this culture. I have some responsibility to take here. It's funny how this works, but the one thing I am probably the least proud of on the internet is also the thing that brought me the most notoriety in my early 20s, and probably what all of you, my viewers, enjoyed the most. And don't get me wrong, they were fun, but I kind of regret doing my streeter content. They're essentially the intellectual equivalent of cage-fighting toddlers, you know, bum fights, TMZ. You're not getting the most highbrow content here. It's catch someone off guard with an offensive question or one set up deliberately to get them to say something stupid, and make sure to do it in a highly emotional environment where anyone with half a brain is going to refuse to appear on camera. Voila, you've got the perfect disaster curated for that tasty online schadenfreude, right? And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it all immensely, and I'm glad you got to laugh along with me. It was a lot of fun, but at the same time, I don't think I knew at that age what this sort of lowbrow entertainment politics was going to develop into, and that it wouldn't just be one funny video anymore, but the norm of our political discussion one day. Particularly that we would develop an entire entertainment genre around this. That category being people who are already not very articulate to begin with, having their worst moments immortalized on the internet, and then used to represent entire groups of people. And this genre of politics and media has perhaps done more damage to people's perception of reality than anything online to date. Like, people will take this clip and say, "Here's all conservatives." That clip, "Here is all lefties," right? The worst is, I think, the gender war nonsense. If I could just go one day without a psyop trying to make me hate men or women, that would be great. Yeah, meet all women on the internet, guys.
The whole time I was seeing him, I was kind of just using it as a psychology experiment, and I didn't really like the guy. I more just wanted to see if I could break his heart.
You guys are so shallow. Shallow. I do prefer someone over 6.
So what's the minimum?
Being a feminist is just doing whatever you want to do.
Now meet all men. This is all males.
The fact that I got a little weird with you is because I'm a guy, whatever the don't hold that against me right now.
Masculine men do not care about a woman's opinion.
I won't hire a salesman that has an ugly girlfriend. Now, I paid a lot of money for this advice, and I'm going to give it to you for free.
All of these TikTok videos get millions of views. It wasn't so bad when, I'd produce this sort of stuff back in the day, as you at least had to sit down and watch a 10-minute video. But with TikTok, the algorithm is just so freaking good at shoveling the content equivalent of fast food down your throat and giving you those quick dopamine hits with 10-second clips that any context or valuable depth that could have been present to begin with is obliterated, gone. And you may think to yourself, but Lauren, I see so many great videos debunking the libs, owning the Democrats, or I see so many great videos calling out men, calling out women, whatever it is, making them look dumb and making me laugh. But you know what's not popping up on our For You feeds? The other person's awesome timeline that is 99% calling out conservatives, where they see absolutely none of the content we are debunking Democrats or left-wingers, or representing all the right as brain-dead and Nazis. The algorithms where women are just watching videos all day of men being abusive and taking that as the reality of all men because that's all they're seeing because they're not going outside anymore because they got agoraphobia from lockdown, whatever it is, or the equivalent where men are just watching repeated videos curated of women saying they want men who earn 8 figures and are 10 feet tall, and that is the only person they will settle down with. And then they don't leave their house because, well, no woman's going to want to date me because I'm 5'8", and I'm clearly just cripplingly short. Insane. We have reached the point where the algorithms are so perfect, you can sit on your couch and scroll for days on end while your brain melts away without even realizing it. This is ruining our society, and there is nothing I can think of that is more important than nuking this phenomenon that has people completely detached from reality. Once again, I could sit here and bring up the fact that TikTok has its deep associations with China, probably being used to steal our information and psyop us into civil discord and insanity, or that it has a very questionable track record when it comes to free speech. But honestly, as I've mentioned earlier, I care far more about the mental health of my community than any of these questions. Maybe back in the day, I would have tried to make this a question about my individual freedom, or see some other conservative talking point about the rights of corporations to make whatever product they wanted and for people to pick and consume it, or try to find some workaround way to oppose it within this framework. But I don't care about that anymore. I just hate it. I hate it. When the majority of your users are not adults with an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex, I am not a big fan of letting your foreign-backed government app turn their brain into mush, permanently destroying their cognitive function and attention span, increasing their depression rates, and giving them a completely delusional, skewed perspective on the world. That's just not responsible. This has nothing to do with freedom arguments. Do you let your kids have the freedom to eat sugar all day and then pretend that's some sort of brave libertine stance? I mean, maybe some people, but it's just brain dead. I don't care, it's brain dead. Honestly, good riddance to TikTok. Go to hell. And I hope the entire internet follows. But also be sure to hit like and subscribe, because I will still be partaking in this circus as hypocritically as ever until my dream of total tech destruction is achieved. Love you all.